Hello again. Thanks for staying with us. The President of the United States, Joe Biden, says the airstrike directed at ISIS-K in Afghanistan was not the last. Today, names of the 13 UN military service personnel were released by the Pentagon. This comes at a time where the clock is ticking for the US to meet the deadline for the withdrawal of US troops in Afghanistan. There are also fears of more attacks by ISIS-K, and Washington has warned its citizens not to be near the airport in Kabul. For more of this, let's speak to Senior Research Fellow at Africa-Asia Dialogue, Thembisa Fakude. Mr. Fakude, thank you very much for your time this evening on the programme. So there are some reports this afternoon that there was an explosion in Kabul. Any information in terms of who was behind that and the impact of that explosion?
Well, it's been confirmed that the ISIL outfit in Kabul, which is known as the ISIS-K, which stands for Khorasan, a region in Afghanistan, was responsible for both explosions that have since taken place in Kabul outside the airport. This is a new outfit. It's one of the franchises of the ISIS or ISIL organization in Afghanistan and in the Middle East, and they're also seeking to secede or create their own Islamic State within Afghanistan. And it's a very complicated conflict because all the objectives are a bit complicated because they seek to basically re-establish the map or redraw the map which currently exists, where you have Afghan proper and its neighbors, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, and Iran. And these are people who are claiming that their stan or country will have to be part of all of those countries. So a bit of land from these countries will form what they intend to call Karagistan, which is Khorasan, a region within Afghanistan.
Yeah, this is also happening on a day where the Pentagon has released names of the US military servicemen and with a deadline for the withdrawal looming. How ready is the United States to meet this deadline?
It doesn't seem that they're ready at all. I mean, the advent of the Taliban who are arriving in the gates of Kabul caught them by surprise. So that's why we have this chaos at the moment with countries, mainly NATO members, the United States, rushing to take their citizens and those that used to work with the United States Army out of Afghanistan. So by all appearances, it doesn't seem that the Americans are ready. The fact that they are pushed to the limit, they still have not completed their work, even though, of course, the deadline is looming, which is the Tuesday. So we can see that they're not prepared at all. The British, who had in the past undertaken to stay the course with the United States, today announced that their last soldiers and the last British citizens have left Afghanistan. The only country that's left with the United States at the moment is France. So we'll have to wait and see what will happen. But certainly they were caught off guard and they were not prepared at all.
While the caught off guard, President Joe Biden saying the recent airstrike against ISIS-K is not the last. I mean, what could have led to this statement? Does it mean that the United States will escalate its action against ISIS-K?
Well, I'm not quite sure whether they will do anything. They've been there for 20 years. They didn't manage to suppress the advances of the Taliban. I'm not quite sure whether they want to restart the war with ISIS-K. But what we will likely see happening now is that ISIS-K or ISIS-Khorasan will continue fighting with the new government of the Taliban, and that will be a very serious war, because in the past these people had this loose alliance, and we are likely now to see them conflicting, because the Taliban has said that the attack was the attack on the people of Afghanistan. So you can see that they're also now taking a new position as the new leadership of Afghanistan. So the conflict is not going to be between the United States and ISIS-K, but it's going to be between the Taliban and ISIS-K.
And that's exactly my next question. I mean, where does this leave the Taliban? Are they in full control? Will they be able to address the ISIS-K challenge?
I don't think they will be able to address the ISIS-K challenge. No, the other ISIS proper, which is also in Afghanistan. We also have Al-Qaeda, by the way, which is nobody's talking about at the moment. Al-Qaeda is likely to have some sort of negotiations with the Taliban, because they've enjoyed a much more closer relationship, given that the Taliban is in this current situation because they refused to hand over Osama bin Laden, who we know was the leader of Al-Qaeda. So the relationship between Al-Qaeda and the Taliban is much more warmer compared to that of ISIS-K. And there are people, of course, who are saying that ISIS-K is yet another creation of the enemies of the Taliban with the intention of keeping the existence or the presence of foreign powers within Afghanistan. But it's going to be another challenge for the Taliban.
We appreciate your time on the programme. Thank you very much, Thembisa Fakude, who's a Senior Research Fellow at Africa-Asia Dialogue. Thanks for joining us on the programme here on The Full View on the SABC News channel. Let's go to other news now. The National Hurricane Centre in the United States